I call this meeting of the Duncanville Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of Board of Trustees is present, that the meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551.
Okay, you ready for me to transition, Madam President?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone. So, board members, I kind of want to get you oriented. You have in front of you, you have a packet. And what we are doing today is we are canvassing the election. I'm going to call up Miss Melissa Case, and as she comes up, she'll kind of walk us through what we're going to be doing this evening. You have in your packet the results from the Dallas County Elections Office. And so we're going to walk through that. That's all a part of the canvassing process. And then we'll, of course, answer any questions that you may have. Go ahead, Melissa.
Good evening, Madam President, Board of Trustees, Dr. Smith. It is very exciting for us to be in the final stages of our TRE election. So this evening we have in front of you this packet with all of the votes from the Dallas County Elections Office. We received this, and so what the board needs to do is go through the canvas, the documents in front of you, and see if you see any discrepancies. We try to break it up into a readable format, so when Dallas County sent us these documents, they were in 6 different documents. But really, the most important one is the very top one, and it's the cumulative votes for the entire election. And just a couple of things I'd like to point out really quick. It's that very first document, and it says unofficial results at the top. One thing I wanted to point out, it says that the ballots cast in this election were 1,996 ballots. But if you go down below that, you see that the total votes cast were 1,991. So one quick question I wanted to answer is what happened to the other 5 votes? So if you flip over to the next page, you're going to see the very last 2 lines on that document. It says overvotes and undervotes. And you're going to notice that there are 5 undervotes on this document. And what those 5 votes represent are 5 individuals that went in person early voting. They went in, they picked up their ballot, but then they never cast a vote. So that is the one discrepancy in those 5 undervotes. But overall, you'll see that we had, back to that first page, again, 1,176 votes in favor of our TRE and 815 votes against the TRE. So we won the election by 59.07%. If you go across on that first page, you're going to see the early voting in person, the number of early votes for and against, the early votes by mail, and I'm going across the top here, election day votes. And then you'll see at the very end there provisional and ADA votes, which were 0. We didn't have any. The provisionals would be overseas votes, so there were 0 across on those. So what we need the board to do is to look through these documents, and they're separated. Each separate document has a blue page in front to quickly be able to see, and it has a description. So if the board will go through and see if you find any discrepancies in the totals on those returns. Once you have had the opportunity to review them, then you can move forward with approving the canvas, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And the final act of canvassing is, Madam President, reading the order canvassing tax ratification election returns.
That is right. Thank you.
What precinct this is right here? Yeah, actually lost that precinct. Yeah, again.
Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions down here?
No, you are good? Yes. About the TRE. Tom, are you done? Okay. The board has completed the canvass of the tax ratification election. I need a motion to accept the election results from the TRE election held on September 8, 2018.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion was made by Tom Kennedy, seconded by Phil McNeely. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. There being 7 votes in favor and no votes against, the motion passes. I will now read the order canvassing the tax ratification election returns. Whereas the Board of Trustees, the Board of the Duncanville Independent School District, the district, ordered the election to be held in the district on September 8, 2018, on the proposition herein after stated. And whereas the board has investigated all matters pertaining to the election, including the ordering, giving notice, officers, holding and making returns of the election. And whereas the election officers who held the election have duly made the returns of the result thereof, and said returns have been duly delivered to the board. Whereas it is hereby officially found and determined that the meeting at which this order was adopted was open to the public, and public notice of the time, place, and purpose of said meeting was given, all as required by Chapter 551 Texas Government Code. Now, therefore, be it ordered by the Board of Trustees of Duncanville Independent School District that the board officially finds and determines that 1, the election was duly ordered, 2, proper notice of the election was duly given, 3, proper election officers were duly appointed prior to the election, 4, the election was duly held, 5, the district has complied with the Federal Voting Rights Act and the Texas Election Code, 6, due returns of the results of the election have been made and delivered, and 7, the board has duly canvassed said returns, all in accordance with the law and the order calling the election. 2, the board officially finds and determines that the following votes were cast at the election on the submitted proposition by the resident qualified electors of the district who voted at the election. Approving the ad valorem tax rate of $1.52 per $100 valuation in the Duncanville Independent School District for the current year, a rate that is 13 cents higher per $100 valuation than the school district rollback tax rate for the purpose of assessing additional local operating revenues, with 1,176 voting for Proposition A and 815 voting against Proposition A. Number 3, the board officially finds, determines, and declares the result of the election to be that the proposition so submitted has received a favorable majority vote in all respects and has carried. 4, the aforesaid taxes may be levied, assessed, and collected annually as voted and provided by law. Passed and approved this September 13th, 2018.
All right.
Is that right?
Is today the
So tell me,
13th?
do you have to take a course on how to write those things
Today's
That
date.
was the date that we,
in law school?
it's not today's date.
Okay, but today's date's the 17th. Passed and approved this September 17th, 2018. Thank you.
That was when we first had it,
Yeah.
but we couldn't.
Yeah. Okay. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.